and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are all my friends, and welcome back to your Thursday preview show with your host, HDR, the Governor. And I've got some new names to add to that Hall of Fame list, so thank you ever so much for all those that have kindly donated their money to us. I'll be updating that list as soon as I possibly can. It's Thursday, which means we're heading into another weekend at Burton this weekend. Can the redemption story start, or will it be another nail in the coffin? We will wait to see. Joining me this evening are three of your finest town contributors the world has ever seen. No, it's not Matty Holland, Jim Magilton and Jermaine Wright. It is instead, first of all, that media mogul.
Let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times.
I've got to edit it out there because it says Christmas times, but it says go to the ocean, and it is of course the fisherman and the media mogul. Gentlemen, welcome in. How are we doing?
All good.
All good.
Good.
Yeah, I love that. I love that music. It actually puts me in a really good mood, I have to say.
Well, that's what we aim to do. That is what we aim to do. Yeah. This is what the show is all about. This is about a light-hearted pause of the week, and at the moment, the weeks are different and difficult for a lot of people and most people. I know they are for me. And this is the chance to stop, breathe, have some fun before we get into what's been really serious recently, Matt.
Well, it's a serious thing, isn't it, Ipswich? Very serious. It's not
like it is a very serious thing. No. It's been a quiet week on Twitter, as the Cruncher says.
Very quiet. Yeah, we've hardly spoken to anyone this week, and it's like the tumbleweed in the desert. Yeah.
It is. Blue soap, I think, might speak its mind more. Too much. That's a big word for me on a Thursday evening after a glass of shandy. That is.
Even I can't say that. Prevaricating.
What do you mean even I can't stay that, you cheeky sod? Stephen Perry, double intro. Double intro is correct, but it's not a triple intro because sadly, due to budget restraints, Mr. Flatt hasn't got an introduction yet.
Adam.
Gents, how are we, all right?
Adam Sandler Flatt, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm currently furloughed, homeschooling, so I'm living the life.
Have you learnt much?
At the moment. No, well, I learnt about snails today, so that was my exciting day.
It's some snail stats.
You should
apparently
be good
they
with
eat them in
snails.
France. Apparently, that's what I found out. So
being a town fan,
they're not
being a town fan, you should be good with snails. You know.
Yeah, and I also learnt that most of them play in our
snails.
first team as well. So yeah, that's what I also found out.
I think that's going to be the quote of the season. I think from that commentator, that really is asthmatic snails.
Not far wrong, was he?
Which game was that? I can't remember which game that was.
Lincoln away, that was.
Lincoln, yeah.
Oh, Lincoln away. Terrible.
James Wilson passed the Toto Enciala about 1,000 times before lumping it up to Hawkins.
Oh,
I love Kelly. He's a ledge. Absolutely ledge.
Facebook user Snails Alan Judge said driver Adam's intro will be a clip of him in the I'm on the bleach tonight. This it will.
Yeah, those dark days.
We'll make a note of that. Matt Stannard. There wasn't a picture of ITFC's build-up play, was there? No, I'm afraid not. Right, as always on the Thursday evening, gentlemen, we've got the wheel of misfortune. It's been on a little holiday, courtesy of our friend Mick. It's used some air miles. It's gone to sunnier climes. So let's spin that wheel and let's get it underway. Sat-nav for Lambert. Reports this week suggest that Paul Lambert has again, because I say again because remember in September, Matt, we had all of this. Paul Lambert's being sacked tomorrow by key insiders. But reports this week suggested that Paul Lambert has lost the dressing room. What do we think on that? Has he lost it? Will he be gone if we lose against Burton? What do we feel on that report?
Well,
Who wants to kick us
Mike
off?
said on Sunday that you thought he'd lost the dressing room, didn't you, Mike? Well, you said on Sunday show.
100%. I can tell you now, there was things are not great behind the scenes, and if you know, yeah, I'm only going by what people told me. I mean, you know, the info that I've been given.
Have you got a source, an undisclosed source?
He's got ketchup.
I've got two actually. I've got two undisclosed sources. You know, it's. Being around football and that, you obviously get to meet people and stuff, don't you? And
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Friends or whatever. But obviously, if you start naming them, then you end up losing.
We're not undisclosed sources then.
You know, so but yeah, there was a big from what I gathered, there was a row on a training ground last Thursday, and then there was a row after the game on Saturday. So I don't know.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised after the Swindon game. It was just like awful, weren't it? Awful.
Adam, row on the training pitch, row after the game. Is that just normal football life, really? When people care.
I mean, you can't expect a squad of 20-odd players and a coaching staff to all get along with one another, can you? They're gonna fall out at some point. Saying that though, I don't think Lambert looked like he had it in him. On Saturday, he didn't look well. He didn't look a well man, didn't he? He didn't look like he'd be able to argue with anybody. But you could tell from Luke Wolfenden's Luke Wolfenden's interview after the game, and then what he's now subsequently come out and said, I think later today, it's clearly not all well there, is it? There's either mixed messages from the manager about how he wants the team to play. It sounds like maybe some players are getting away with not pulling their weight as opposed to others. So. It's not going well, is it?
No. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say as well, and you know, he's got his attack dog in there, isn't the old Stuart Taylor? You know, I can't imagine he's a particularly good guy at cajoling the dressing room either. So, yeah,
he comes across as a Chris Doyle character that was Paul Hurst had. Remember him?
Really? You feel Stuart Taylor is the Rottweiler of the two? You feel he is the bad guy and Lambo's the good cop?
Well, I mean, look, Mike said he sat behind Taylor and said he was effing and jeffing for 90 minutes and getting in the ear hole of the linesman. And
embarrassing. I mean, I've even got my fan club in tonight. Look, Jack's about. All right, Jack. All right. I know you flirt with me a lot. You know, the reality is that he you know, you could tell by sitting. How I didn't keep my gob shut, I don't know.
First Dortmund reference.
Brilliant. But no, sitting behind the dugout with when listening, he's just constantly 4 games I went to last season that I sat behind the dugout. He was constant, badgering the fourth official, badgering the players, effing and jeffing, and it's embarrassing. He's meant to be a top qualified assistant coach or whatever he is.
I see nothing wrong with that. Some people use an F and a Jeff as a comma. Some people like Matt Phillips. If you swear in the WhatsApp, you feel like you've been really bad, and you're almost going to the headmaster's office next. You know, some people are really like that, whereas some people are like fishermen. Let's be run and F and a Jeff for fun.
But there is a time where you've got to be vocal. I mean, I've coached from sort of under 11s right up to under 16s. There is a time when you get to under 15s, under 16s, where you do need to be vocal, yeah? But there's a time and a place for it. Do you know what I mean? There's a time. You are going to get frustrated with decisions. Yeah. Just refereeing decisions that you're not going to be happy with. But most of the time, you're letting the boys play. You're letting them express themselves, and you're letting them just get on with it. But you know, the way Stuart Taylor goes about it's quite embarrassing. I ain't going to lie. I just think these are grown men. Do you know what I mean? If they don't know what to do when they cross that white line, then your training's wrong.
Yeah, Wolfenden said they were excellent in training, didn't he? He said, we're amazing in training, yet they get on the pitch and they don't look like they've never played with one another.
I'd love to hear someone do an interview one week and they go, How's training been this week? It's been a shambles.
Hated it. Hated
No
it. It was
one
rubbish.
could play to the formation. No one could do 4-4-2. It's going to have to be 4-3.
As a Bears fan, there's nothing worse, because all week you hear how great practice has been in this sport, and then they go and get beat 54-3, and you think that was a great week of practice. It's like this here. Everyone's brilliant in training. They're all doing, Cruyff turns and making themselves look like Lionel Messi, and on a Saturday they play more of a mess than anything else. But to round us up, Matt, the arguing, if to be believed, and I don't disbelieve Mike, is it a good thing actually? Does it show there's care in the camp?
Yeah. I mean, I think you got a squad of fellas from teenagers through to late 30s. It's going to be lively. I mean, even when I was around like England youth squads, it was pretty lively. So I think it is a good thing. I think all clubs is quite feisty. They're trying to get. Look, there's only 11 spots in the first 11, and you've got a squad of players, 30 players, all vying for 30. For 11 spots. It's going to be, kind of confrontational and dog eat dog a little bit on the training ground.
So a few comments.
Jack has just said there. Jack is in this message. As soon as you start swearing as a coach, the players just switch off from you, and it's not productive. He's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, some do. But there's some respect being spoken to as a man. It's personalities again, isn't it? Personality traits. Michael Finch says, I drop more than a few F-bombs every time we play. Matt Stannard, I'd love to see videos from training. George Hug, why won't media ask questions fans want answers for? Well, we may get there today. We may not get there till Sunday, but we'll get there eventually. Facebook user, he can swear, but more importantly, he can't coach. And let's take it back to the wheel. Right. Favourite of mine, this one.
This music makes me laugh. I remember when I was in New York a few years back, I went to watch the Mets play baseball.
Oh, yes.
It was Greek night. So they had that style of music playing between each inning, and a load of people would come on, just smash a load of plates, and then dance off again. And that went on for all 9 innings.
I smash plates for fun in this house. Not on purpose. I just drop them.
Yeah.
We go through sets like there's no tomorrow. The FA Youth Cup has been suspended. Should all cups be suspended?
Yeah, I think so. I think they should have. I've said to you before they should have scrapped all cups: FA Cup, Papa John's, League Cup. If there's any more COVID cases for league games, you're not going to be able to finish this season because I think coming up soon they've got Saturday, Tuesday games pushing on until Easter. So if there's any more COVID outbreaks and you end up postponing 3 games in a block, when are you going to fit them in? They're going to have to push this season into the summer. And then, I don't know. I'm still convinced it doesn't get finished this season. But there you go. That's just me.
Put out a statement on there this evening saying they think they've now got all the infrastructure in place to conclude the season. But, you never know what's around the corner of this, do you?
As for the youth guys, I think it's a shame because I think it looks like Dyer and Butcher have got quite a good set of lads there who they look like they play quite good football. I caught some of the game where did they beat Southend, I think, recently in one of the cup games, and they looked a good side. They play some good football, those young lads, and I think it's a shame because it would be nice to see them get like a big side like a Chelsea or a Man City, one of the top youth sides, to see how they get on. But I think it's inevitable. Those kind of competitions are just easy to scrap, aren't they? Yeah. It's much more difficult to scrap a cup or a league game.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Adam, because there's no real I don't think there's any sponsor on the Youth Cup. The other competitions have got TV deals. We're talking hundreds of millions. I mean, even something as small as the EFL Trophy with Papa John's, they've come in and put some money in there. We've said on here before, the EFL ain't that great. They're trying to get money from anywhere they can. And I think that's the reason why they need to go ahead.
I think that's the problem. As much as we all are pretty much agree that all the cups should have been scrapped, I've got no problems with that at all. But I think the problem is it comes down to money. That's why they've carried on. It comes down to the money side of it, doesn't it? FA are not going to cancel any of them, are they? So.
It don't matter to Ipswich anyway. We're always out of the cups.
Well, it does though. But it does though, because you need an opposition. So if your opposition's in a cup, that's a weekend. Maybe you're sat on the sidelines, and as we head towards the end of the season, that could matter. Every game is important, and that's why I felt it was important to bring it up and see where you all felt on that subject. there a point to the academy? First Baggott, and this week Liam Gibbs is linked with Premier League interest. Before you three answer that question of is it worth an academy in today's day and age, I've got a comment here from Matt Stannard, which I just loved. I love the baseball. Remember in San Francisco, watching and seeing adverts for a Bring Your Granny Night. There you go, Marcus. That's an idea for a PR campaign. Bring Your Granny Night.
It's 162 games, so they all generally get themed. Yeah.
Love it. Is the academy worth it, gents?
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of Marcus Evans's mythical 5-year plan, whatever, or 5-point plan, or whatever it is. To bring youngsters through to that academy. I mean, that's what Peterborough are doing, aren't they? They buy from the non-league and have youth players and then sell them on for profits.
Comments amazing.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
That's cheered me up. I had that comment. That's amazing.
Next time, let us use your name, and then it'll be even better. Own that comment.
I think the longer we stay at League One, a Category 2, high-end Category 2, pushing for Category 1 academy becomes financially difficult for the club, doesn't it, to run an academy at that level? Yeah, but Brentford's West London, there's like extenuating circumstances with them, isn't there? They've got QPR, Fulham, Chelsea, all the other London clubs competing with players, and Brentford's model is their owner is doesn't the owner like a betting company or a statistician company, and he's got the expertise to put the backrooms plans in place for Brentford. So their sort of model is a bit different, but for us, it's massive because we've relied on our academy certainly for as long as I can remember going to watch Ipswich, and if we're going to start, Gibbs, he's played one first team game. I just think the problem is that if that, going back to what you said before, if there's a problem behind the scenes and they don't like Lambert or they don't like Taylor, or there's issues behind the scenes with how players are coached, or if the general vibe of the club is wrong, nowadays players' heads, certainly young players' heads, they're going to be turned, because it's not just the potential opportunity to play for a bigger Premier League club. It's the whole package, wasn't it? That the lad from Man City, they put his family through, like they put his siblings through private school. They probably sorted a house out for his parents. I mean, that kind of thing we can't do. So, but I think we'd all agree that we'd be devastated if they scrap their academy.
Yeah.
See, I think we can do it. You've got an owner that's certainly wealthy enough. It's all about, you've got to manage the cans and what you want to do, I suppose, really.
I think our only saving grace with the academy players that we do have two people there that are probably actually really doing a world of good for them youngsters, and that's Dyer and Butcher. Yeah? Right, without them, I can honestly think, I mean, we might keep Gibbs, but
you can't say that. They've been there. They've either had a cup of coffee at the football club. But
the thing is, if you're in a job and the problem is the league we're in is gonna. That's our problem. We're in League One, and as much as I hate this, we're in League One, and somebody from the Premier League comes in. That's 2 leagues above, isn't it? And they're going to get things handed to them on a plate, really, aren't they? And that's the problem, isn't it? It comes down to money. It comes down to the fact that we're in League One. If we're in the Championship, I don't think any of these youngsters would leave.
And it's better for their CV, because Charlie Brown obviously didn't. He was a big thing here. Went to Chelsea. Now he's gone to MK Dons. If Tristan Nydam
isn't he?
Well, yeah, but if Tristan Nydam is released tomorrow, on his CV it's got released by Ipswich Town Football Club, and everyone goes, "Oh, aren't they in League One?" Yes, they are. Yeah. If Charlie Brown's released tomorrow, it says released by Chelsea, and everyone from their mum, so everyone just says, "Oh, Chelsea."
Yeah.
It must be good pedigree.
It's the level of competition, though, now, isn't it? I mean, you guys can remember proper old-school reserve football, where you had young, up-and-coming players mixed in with senior pros coming back from injury.
Yep.
But now you don't have that. You don't have reserve football anymore. You have the first team, and then you have under-23s football, which Lambert, McCarthy, they all say the same. It's not worth it. It's pointless. They don't get the proper experience. So,
I'd scrap it, personally. I know the thing is, and a lot of comments have said the same, it's in our DNA. It's what we're known for. It's Ipswich Town. I just think it no longer suits us because we're not that big club. We can't go and poach anybody. You know, if you've got a player like Baggott comes through and makes one appearance, Liam Gibbs one appearance, and they're gone because clubs can start stockpiling, and the compensation is so ridiculous. It's never really gonna.
It suits Evans, doesn't it, Martin? Because that's where he likes to invest, and that kind of I don't know. I guess he thinks that's appeasing the fan base. We'll still have this conveyor belt of youth players coming through, and I'll put the money in for that. But I tell you what did annoy me about the academy was that kid Chawera. He had no idea who Terry Butcher was. They had to show him a picture of Butcher with the bloodied headband after, was it Swindon?
Wow.
I mean, at least educate the young players about our history, right? I mean, like I said, I've walked around Portman Road. It's on all the walls. Tell them what they come into, what the badge means, what the shirt means.
If it's not on FIFA, Matt, they're not interested. If it's not on the new FIFA, they're not. They don't know who anyone is, do they?
But be a student of the game.
Exactly.
Be a student of the game you're trying to be the best in. You know, and he was one of the best players in that game. You know, so that's. I didn't know that. Fair enough.
One of my pet hates is FIFA. When you're coaching kids, they talk about CDMs, you know, and all they keep coming up with CDM, and you know, all these different words they use on the FIFA.
Register.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, no disrespect, right? But FIFA's a non-realistic game of every, you know, you use that to play, you know, use your 2 feet, and that's it. You know, bit of eye-hand coordination, yeah, great. But the reality is, that's different to that, and you don't get a kick in the ankle, you don't get an elbow in the ribs, you don't get a, you know, tackle. It's just.
I just feel like
Mike's more your old-fashioned centre half. That's why I think Mike's like.
I was a right back. Some
boots.
say left back. Some say left back in the changing room, but I was a right back.
I just feel like, you know, we've got such a, you know, we get mocked for our history by Norwich, don't we? But at least tell the young players the footsteps they're following in as a basic, as a Spurs base, you know.
Facebook user, just to end that sort of a full stop. The thing is, kids 16 to 18 nowadays, Ipswich means nothing. We have done nothing for 20 years, which is a whole generation. It's a fair point. Right, off to Cyprus. Transfer news. Josh Harrop has been linked from Preston North End. First, you can tell me what you think of this link if you like, but the question really is, if you had the checkbook, where would you strengthen the side? And you can't say manager.
Well, he's like attacking midfielder striker, isn't he, Adam?
Yeah, well, I can't confess to know enough about him. I know I think Luke did a video about him. He knows much more about him than him. I'm not being funny. Number 10, sort of attacking central midfielder, and we got quite a few of them already on the books. And aren't there other areas of the team where we're struggling? I mean, I think Thomas, he'd be higher up the list to sign because he's a winger. I think we're missing wide players. I think, you know, we mentioned 4-4-2 before, playing that. We can't play that without proper wingers. And, you know, whilst Gwion Edwards is injured, who plays there in those wide positions? Do you shove Alan Judge out wide? Do you put Dobra? I'm not convinced he's a wide player. Caden Jackson certainly isn't. So I think wide midfielders. And then also I'd be looking at a double hard bastard in centre midfield because it's a lot of pressure on Flynn Downs now. Someone who's just going to clatter people left, right and centre. And Emerson's put left back there and bang on. I'd even go as far to say right back, but you got 2 35-year-olds playing full back. Yeah. We're about to go through a nuts schedule of football. And there's talk about, you know, we're going to be letting Danassian go. Guy can cover both. I just find it all a bit strange. They look like they're looking for players in positions that we don't really need them.
Yeah,
Mike.
Go on, Mike.
I was going to say, I mean, there was talk about, it's talking, like I said, the Harrop, wasn't he? And then there was that Luke Thomas from Barnsley. Yeah. I mean, you know, realistically, are they going to come here? Probably not. You know, they're going to go somewhere.
We're not discussing whether it's realistic or not. What we're discussing is, if you had the checkbook, if you're cool, Mike Brown is head scout, where would you put the funds? It's looking like they want a winger.
But what I'm saying is that we're looking at these players, and they're not players that we really need. We need players really that we, like I said, we need that hard bastard in the midfield to just toughen up a bit. You know, we need that real tough. Look, someone that can lead. That would be a bloody good start. Do you know what I mean? Instead of Chambers,
Well, the thing is, right? If Luke Chambers, I know he's a fit individual. He obviously looks after himself, but is he going to go? Is he going to go between now and April? Without getting any knocks, we can't rely. I think we should stop talking about Kane Vincent-Young. I think it's pointless. I don't think we'll ever see him play again. I think so. That's why I think we need better fullbacks. I think you can clearly see when we play, having two geriatric fullbacks is massively restricting how we play. I think it really does. Yeah, I think it really affects
play wide, right? Can't he? Lancaster can play wide. He can. He's got pace, and what I like about Lancaster is he actually does. Jackson. I was talking to another fan on Messenger earlier, and we were talking about Jackson. He has got pace, and yet he's playing wide left or wide right, wherever he is, he's not attacking. He's not attacking the fullbacks. And you think to myself, well, you've got an opportunity, you've got pace, just put the ball past them, run past them, put a cross in, job done. But he's not doing that. But I said that he's more of a striker. But we do need Jack would do that. Jack Lancaster can cut down on that right hand side, and he does put a lovely ball in. I rate him. I know some people like, but I do actually rate the boy.
I don't think Jackson is intelligent enough for a wide position. He's not wily. No. He is a stick the ball down a channel and I will run it 10 out of 10, and I will keep running and keep running and keep running. But he's not got it up here to beat a player or learn his fullback's weakness and learn how to exploit it and be that student of the game in game. And it's those in game adjustments where we're really struggling. And I'm really fearful. What will happen is what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want a new manager because I don't want loan players coming in and stifling young players' development. If you bring a wide player in, where does that leave Dobra? Where does that leave Lancaster? Where does that leave those younger players that are getting game time, are learning, developing? They're on the outside looking in, aren't they? If wide players come in, Matt.
You just said you'd get rid of the academy. So you're not fussed about young players.
Well, this is it. Of course I'm fussed about young players. If I was funding it, I'd say, no, I'm all right.
You shut the academy down.
But it's open at the moment.
You put a lock on the gates.
But it's because it's costing us money and we're not getting anything from it. Give me 5 quality players that have seen this club rise from the academy ranks in the last 5 years. And I'm not saying that you've saved the owner investment. I'm talking about giving you real pedigree on the football club. There isn't one.
You could say that about a lot of them.
Yeah, but they've slotted into the first team, haven't they? Your Bishops and the like, and Wolfenden.
Don't talk about Teddy Bishop. That is the most unfulfilled potential I'm ever going to see.
I get that, but he still made it into the first team, right? That's a success story.
Yeah, so did Giles Coke. We're not about high threshold here, but fine, we'll leave it. But I'm just worried that the younger players, because we've got them, we've paid for this academy. I'm worried that the younger players' development will be stifled by a 6-month loan.
Well, I said on Sunday's show, I think they're too cotton-walled anyway. You saw, I felt like Swindon's young players, Scott Twine, Jai Seamu, who's been at Norwich, far better than what we've got. That's why these boys need to go out on loan. There's no point thinking, I want to stay within the 5-star comfort of Ipswich Town, Playford Road. No, get out to League 2. Go and learn your trade.
It's just more sticking plasters in it. Anybody they buy this January, it's more plaster. It's more applying plasters to the wound. Doesn't identify the big major problems in our recruitment at all. I don't want to be linked. I don't want to be linked to anybody anyway. Don't bring him in because if we're getting linked to players and we're bringing players in, that means Lambert is staying longer.
Oh, he is. He is.
I think Evans has doubled down, hasn't he, this week? So I think it's going to have to get real bad.
Saturday.
Cruncher's not having Bishop. Emerson Fairweather, we miss James Wilson. Lee Anderson, agree, Mike, nothing to sell on. Callie said the last academy of players was Dyer, Bramble, Wright. Bish, Dodds and Downs have the potential. Right, on to the next one. Burton team. What do we feel the Burton team and score will be?
Anybody got a bingo ball?
Do you think? And Mike and
Camelot set of balls, number 5.
I'll ask Mike and Adam this question, and you in as well, mine. Do you, when we beat them 2-1, before Christmas, did you think that when we went to their place, that would be a comfortable 3 points? And what do you think now? Do you think we're looking at a comfortable 3 points Saturday?
No, because doing some digging. They've got, well, you say that, they've now got a new manager. They've got Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was their new manager. Took charge of their first game on Saturday, which they won 1-0, their first clean sheet of the season. I think this game has gone from probably being, maybe we might have thought it was a gimme. I think this is a lot tougher than people might think it is. I think from what I can gather, they play like a 4-5-1, quite defensive.
Yeah,
so you can see it now. They'll nick a goal. We can't create anything. We can't break anybody down. They'll hit us on the break, and I've just got narrow defeat in my head for this one. I don't know why. I just think it's not like we're in great form, is it? Let's be honest. Swindon were 23rd. We made them look like bloody Eusebio's Benfica, didn't we? You know.
I think we've got an opportunity to beat them, but I think it's got a draw written all over it. It's a bit of a point, isn't it? There's fans out there that obviously no fan wants to see Ipswich lose, right? But I asked a question, got called a cock bumble earlier, so one of my fans.
Welcome to the club.
Well, Facebook keyboard warriors, you got to love them.
Oh yeah.
There's fan that I want Lambert gone. But does that mean I want us to lose against Burton just to get rid of Lambert? No. All right, look, I'm not going to say that, and I don't agree with that at all. I asked a question whether there's fans want that to happen. Okay, I've got, look, guys here, who here would, if it meant getting rid of Lambert, would take a loss against Burton?
Me.
Really?
If it was guaranteed, then I probably would. I hate having to admit that.
Exactly. I'm with you, Adam. I don't like saying that, but after the Burton game, there's 26 games to go. I said Sunday, plenty of time for someone new to take the foundation of our squad and actually turn it into what it could actually potentially be.
I don't think I could take a loss. If we lost, he's got to. Well, you said that against Swindon, he's got to go. But regardless, if we lose against Burton, then. Team against Burton. 4-4-2, that is it. I've had enough of 4-3-3. If Lambert's not willing to change, then no wonder he's, the most hated manager in League One at the moment.
This is Jimmy Floyd's second spell at Burton, where he had a 61% win percentage the first time.
They were good under him.
They won League Two. And the only reason he went was because he got poached by QPR. And I read an interview of him at the weekend where he said, all we've done is concentrate on keeping a clean sheet. Because this club can't keep a clean sheet, which they, as you rightly said, Adam, they went to Gillingham and did. And I think it was Hayden Carter, Jimmy's first signing, came in and scored the winning goal.
Yeah, he's from Blackburn, isn't he, the young lad?
Blackburn or Blackpool, one of them two, one of the Bs.
Well, mate, they shipped 17 goals between playing us and the second game. They lost 3-1 at home to Doncaster, 5-1 away at Lincoln. They lost 4-3 at home to Wigan. And they got done 5-1 at home to Burton. Not Burton. Done 5-1 at home to Oxford. 17 goals they conceded since we last played them. And then obviously they won at the weekend. But you sit there and think, we should stick a few goals past this lot. But you just don't. You just can't see that we will do it.
Drilling? Don't get my started.
As for the team, I mean, going back to signings, I think that Ben Whiteman from Doncaster has just gone to Preston, hasn't he? Preston have just signed him, so that might sort of free up the Harrop deal potentially if they can get that over the line. So who knows? If he comes in, he might be on the bench. But sounds like Edwards might be on the bench potentially. Downs. My concern is, and we saw it before, Lambert might be in self-preservation mode. He might rush some of these lads back.
Maybe.
Well,
got to
trust the physios though. They're normally pretty good, our physios, in terms of not rushing players back. I'll just put a disclaimer there. They're ones for not bringing them back early. That's what I would say.
Is that
like Mr. Young still's not seen the grass?
That's the bald Scottish guy doing it via Zoom, isn't he? Are they showing him like a leg on Zoom, and he's going, "Oh, you're okay, lad. What are you doing?"
I think it's now.
I think, Martin, you know, as we mentioned earlier, we watch a lot of American sports. I think not wanting to lose is a very English thing, a very British thing. Like your Chicago Bears, right, Martin? They got knocked out of the playoffs, didn't they, the weekend? A lot of their media people were saying, in order to progress this club and bring new blood in, let's go, you know, win one game next season and lose 15, or win 2 and lose 14. They ain't fussed about losing as long as it pushes them pushing them forward for the future. And we have to get into that mindset that, you know, to lose Lambert, we're going to have to lose games, but there's still plenty of the season to turn around.
Except, I don't think losing games is going to lose Lambert this year, and that's why I think you have to try and hope they win, because a defeat just makes you feel even worse. Because with nobody calling for him to go, other than 4 people sat here and Cruncher watching at home,
95% of the fans want him gone.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah, but I just don't see it happening this year. But we'll
Has
wait
he
to
improved
see.
on last season?
Well, he hasn't.
I've got stats. Little while.
Ah, well.
Oh, there you go.
Lambert, is it wrong to carry on? Apparently it's a disgrace. I think he said it was a disgrace. That we're carrying on playing football.
I sort of do agree. I sort of do agree a little bit what he says about the football side of things. I don't. Not many things I agree with Paul Lambert on, but in terms of with COVID, I do find it a bit weird that football's been treated completely differently from the rest of the country, and they're still travelling up and down.
All beating bubbles, though, Adam. All beating their bubbles.
Yeah. Well, as was what you think it is, obviously.
In terms of the testing, like we played that clip on Sunday, Richie's clip on Sunday of Chorley. Everyone's going, oh my God, have they been tested? Well, they came out and said, yes, we had.
Yes.
Only the people in there come back with negative COVID tests.
Lambert's going to say that saves him his job, doesn't it?
Well, exactly
he's itching the season. I know he's itching the end of the season. But
we've said on the show before, Paul Lambert is all about Paul Lambert, right?
Yeah.
It's all about him. He turns all the interviews around to him. And he knows he's got an injury list as long as his arm. We're out sitting outside the playoffs. It suits Paul Lambert yet again for the season to get cancelled.
Does anyone know the reason behind the story? Like, why did he come out and say this? What was he asked?
I mean, why was he on 5 Live? That's what I don't know. Why did they pick him? Of all the managers they could have picked.
Because he's had it recently, I guess.
felt sorry for him.
And
Lead me on.
Sounds like he had it quite bad. Sounds like he had it pretty rough, you know, so...
But he was also seen doing some press for Celtic. So, lead me on, because thankfully Adam's told me who it was. Is this Lambo getting himself out in the press, do we feel? And trying to get that name out there?
Maybe. I mean, we said this in the summer, didn't we? You remember when we had the first lockdown and we didn't hear from him for about 6 months? He was in a bunker somewhere, and then he suddenly re-emerged on this Scottish podcast. Remember, Martin? We put the link out, didn't we?
He did, yes, he did.
And we were like, who is this guy? This is not the Dallas Scott who talks to Brenner and the EADT on a weekly basis. He was like a fella down the pub, you know, rejoicing over Celtic and all this kind of thing. So, yeah, maybe.
2 topics left. Let's crack it. Okay, we've got Bishop, Edwards, Nolan and Sears are all back in training, but no news on KVY. Have we ever known, as fans, anything like this with a player? Where literally...
Convincing,
nothing.
It's nuts, isn't it? It's absolutely nuts. What is wrong with that, Matt? What is wrong with him?
He had an ankle injury, didn't he, originally, wasn't it?
Achilles, sore Achilles. It was a sore Achilles, wasn't it? At Tottenham.
I don't know.
It's really strange because he looked great against Colchester, didn't he? Which prompted me to say get double figures in goals. They played in some kind of wing back position.
But we're all fans of how many years? 20, 30, 40 years here? Have we ever, even with Ipswich or other clubs, known there to be just so little in regards to an injury that for one of your better players? And let's face it, ask 10 Town fans, 8 will probably say he is one of our better, if not the best player. Normally, that's prime question number 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, whatever, isn't it?
They never know the answer, though, do they? Whenever you ask them anything, I've said this to you before. It's all like, yeah, he ran around the training ground the other day, he looked all right, and that's about as in depth as it gets, doesn't it? You don't get any kind of detail, do you?
Yeah.
Ben Moore, Seville, the Argentinian player we had. That's a fair
Well, he
one.
got injured in a game, didn't he? So that was kind of, and got carried off and was treated on the pitch for ages, wasn't he? Do you remember the famous thumbs up as he was carried off? But I mean,
Le Pen.
Oh, God, Le Pen.
that was horrible.
Come on, take that free kick and then went off injured.
Well, he got
nasty
clattered, didn't he? He got clattered
Bolton.
by some Bolton
He
player,
went for a
didn't
volley
he?
at Bolton, didn't he? I think Hughes. I think Hughes.
Bloody Jamie.
KVY. They're injuries that just appeared out of nowhere, not from games, I don't think.
A player that wasn't injured, Amir Carrick, when he was here.
Well, I remember that was he played in the Euros, didn't he? Played in Euro 2000. I remember they were raving about how good his left foot was, and he came here and he was useless, wasn't he?
Well, did we ever see him to know he was useless?
He played in a. You know what? He played in a. I remember he played in the Carling Cup or whatever it was against Millwall, I think, and he couldn't defend as long as he had a hole in his arse. Basically, he was that bad.
It was the real game, yeah, that's right.
He was dreadful.
That went to extra time, didn't it? It was like 1-1 or
Yes,
something.
I do remember. Yeah, I remember that one.
Mark
0-0.
Fish.
Yeah.
I
Mark
was
Fish.
at that QPR game. That was as poor an Ipswich performance as I've ever seen anyone.
He was good at Bolton. He was good for Bolton.
Yeah, like everyone, I say it wasn't injury, but Ivor Ingemarson. My outstanding memory of him is a ball coming through the air and he going to head it, falling in front of his face. That was it. And it was
At least he turned round and said, "I haven't got it anymore." He
John Scales. Abu says somebody. There's been a few at this club, let's face it. And let's close the show up with our last topic. That is the news that Brenner Woolley will be covering town games, but not at town games. So, in relation to that, who is our best ever football commentator? And I mean your own personal favourite. Who is your go-to favourite of all time?
Barry Davis, I reckon, is for me. He's the guy.
I've always liked Brenner Woolley as a commentator. He's quite exciting, but I do think when it comes to the interviews with the managers, he's a bit of a softy. He just needs to be a bit more tougher on that side of things and be a bit more brutal towards them. Because at the end of the day, he is media, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? But as a commentator, when you're listening to him on the radio, you might be driving wherever and you got him on the radio in the car and that. And it does. If a goal goes in, it gets quite excited and makes you feel a little bit, yes, get in there, But as a media, oh come on, Martin.
No, my issue with Brendan is he's too excitable. You could if when you're at home, you could be chopping onions, right? Waiting to go live for the full-time show. He goes excitable. You rush into the room. It's only a corner. It's like what?
It's a throw-in on the halfway line.
Exactly. It's nothing exciting. And you're thinking,
yeah, but you could have Mick Mills. No respect. I love Mick Mills to bits, but if you can imagine him commentating on every game.
Do not operate heavy machinery when listening to Mick Mills.
So, that's a legend, boys and girls. We've got Barry Davis. Who else is our all-time favourites? That's what we want. All-time favourite.
When I was at the FA, we did an event with John Watson where we went to his house. We ran John Watson's house. It was as you would imagine it to be. His office was just like this library of football books. He'd converted his garage into a pub. Like a proper bar, draft beers, barrels, snooker table, pool table.
Nice.
Can I give an honourable shout out to Jonathan Pearce as well?
Good God, no. Is he still arguing about the Hawkeye decision?
I only say this because I remember listening France '98. Do you remember the Holland-Argentina game? Dennis Bergkamp scored that excellent goal where he sort of takes it down, and Jonathan Pearce went absolutely apeshit when that goal went in. And the main reason he did was because he'd been slagging Argentina off for the whole game for cheating, dirty tackles. And when that goal went in, he was like, "Take that, Argentina, you dirty cheats. Have some of that." I just remember that just sticks in my mind so vividly, listening to that as a young boy. And that was amazing.
Was he the commentator for the Raheem Sterling ghost goal?
Was he? I don't know.
Do you remember that, Matt? The Raheem Sterling ghost goal in the Euros against Italy, where it went for a goal kick and BBC flashed goal and the whole. I was in the pub at the time. Erupted.
Yeah, Raheem didn't score. Did Raheem score in that game?
No, he didn't. That was.
Daniel Sturridge scored that one, didn't he?
He scored a goal off the crossbar, didn't we, in that game? I can't remember. We lost 2-1, didn't we?
We did, but he didn't score.
That one.
Dickie Davis says Stephen Parry. Mike, in case you're struggling, here's some mentions, and you shout out when you think. You've got Martin Tyler, you've got Andy Gray, Clive Tildesley, Gary Lineker, Ian Dart, Guy Mowbray, Peter Drury, John Champion, Alan Parry.
ITV have done the dirty on Clive Tildesley, haven't they? He's been shoved out, isn't he? Is it Sam Matterface? I think the champ's name is.
I think he does a bit of Rangers TV and does the Amazon commentary.
I love Jeff Stelling. I have to say, on a Soccer Saturday, Jeff Stelling.
Armchair fan.
Brilliant. Absolutely love him. He's good. No, he's good. He's good, you know, and then you get the old boys, the old farts next to him.
I've made a little list here. Back when Ipswich used to be on ITV, Match of the Week, when I was growing up and, you know, used to watch Ipswich in the early 80s. So you used to have Jerry Harrison was the go-to commentator if we was on the TV. Mm-hmm. And then if we was away, it would generally be this Welsh guy called Hugh Johns, who was the ITV commentator for the 66 World Cup final. And he would never say 1-0. He'd go, and it's Mariner, and it's 1-0 Ipswich. It's 1-0. I used to think it was really cool. Brian Moore, I thought was really good. Crutcher said that in there. Brian Butler used to be on Radio 2, which then became Radio 5. He was like an iconic commentator. And like people like Gerald Sinstadt, I think he used to be pretty good when he was on Match of the Day. But I tell you who was really good. And I worked with him a bit. Jim Rosenthal, right? Fantastic presenter, really great guy. Sure. But when Amir Khan, before he turned professional, he had his last amateur fight against the guy who beat him at the Olympics. And it was live on ITV. And not only did Jim Rosenthal present it, so the camera cut titles straight to Jim Rosenthal, he then commentated on the fight, and then he jumps in the ring and interviewed everybody. It was like a one-man show. It always sticks
professional to the end.
Jimmy Hill.
Yeah.
What are the guys that, Matt, you might know, I don't know their names off the top, the guys that did the 5 Live commentary for the boxing? They're really good.
Oh, Mike Costello and Steve Bunce, they're really good commentators. I mean,
who does 5 Live football?
I mean, they've got a host of people, haven't they? I think it's Mike Ingram, I think. They're really good, actually. Really good
ladies as well, aren't they?
He's been there for years, absolute donkey's years, because he's as a kid I could well be, yeah.
Any shouts out for Andy Gray and Richard Keys?
Oh, legends!
Now find their trade at the end.
Oh dear.
I will give a shout out. I'll give a shout out just to close to Andy Townsend, because not for how good he was, but for how funny he was without meaning to be funny. And you've got the whole Andy Townsend tactics truck where he says some of the most simple things about, they're losing because they didn't score enough goals, and just simple things that are just so like, well yeah, of course.
Michael Owen's bad for that as well. He's terrible at that. I don't know if you've heard him. He's dreadful.
And old McManaman, not quite the level he was as a
maybe we
player.
need the tactics truck down at Portman Road. Lambert can sneak off mid-game. Where's Paul? He's locked himself in the tactics truck.
There we go. Right. We are back on Saturday at 2:30 for the Burton game. Matt, who is yourself? And it's not. It's Richard Moss and Amy Downs for Burton, and myself, of course, and then back again Sunday at 1:30. But from the three of us, we'll see you all over the weekend, and we'll close, as always, until Ipswich Town are better with this.
Wake up to the, wake up to the money, turn me right on. You look like you got dressed with no lights on. A Superman that spin like a cyclone. Fit check, spin like a cyclone. Wake up to the money, turn me right on.
Yeah, but we're crap. We're not going to dominate any team.